Hey Army! Welcome back to our channel. If this is your first time watching, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any latest updates about BTS. Guys, this time I have some tea that's literally scorching hot. So, the director of BTS's comeback music video that's dropping in March just gave an exclusive interview, and he spilled something that gave me absolute chills. It's about Suga and Jimin's chemistry that apparently left the entire crew on set completely speechless and stunned. Are you curious about what actually happened behind the scenes? Stay tuned until the end, because the story gets even more incredible. And before we start, please help this channel out by liking this video, it's free. Let's go! Okay Army, before we deep dive into the story, I want to let you know that the director who's speaking isn't just any random director. This is director Kim Sung-hoon, who has over 20 years of experience in the Korean music industry. He's worked on hundreds of music videos for top-tier artists, from first-generation to fourth-generation K-pop idols. So, when he says Suga-Jimin's chemistry is extraordinary, it means it's really extraordinary. And what makes it even more interesting, director Kim is known as a perfectionist with incredibly high standards. He's the type of director who isn't easily impressed and always demands the best from his artists. So, if he was blown away by Suga-Jimin, you can imagine for yourself just how powerful their chemistry must be. Now, let's break down one by one everything that director Kim revealed in his interview. Trust me, this is going to make you even more excited for the comeback. So here's the thing guys, director Kim explained that the concept for this BTS comeback music video is super complex. It's completely different from their previous MVs. This time the theme is much deeper, full of symbolism about their journey, about friendship, struggle, and of course about their bond as BTS for over 10 years. Now, to tell all of that visually, director Kim designed several scenes that require incredibly strong chemistry between members. And one of the most crucial scenes in this MV, he deliberately chose Suga and Jimin as his main focus. Why? Because according to director Kim, the aura and energy that Suga-Jimin possess is perfect to convey the emotion he wanted to deliver. But here's the plot twist, guys. Director Kim was actually worried at first, because the scene he designed was extremely challenging. The scene required supernatural facial expressions, meaningful eye contact, body language that had to look spontaneous yet still impactful. This isn't an easy scene even for professional actors. Director Kim said he needed chemistry that was genuinely authentic, not acting that's forced or fabricated. Because if the chemistry isn't authentic, the audience will immediately feel it and the scene won't work. And guys, this is quite a lot of pressure, considering how important this scene is for the overall narrative of the MV. But wait, because what happened next was truly beyond expectations. Okay, this is the part that gave me the most goosebumps. So, as soon as director Kim gave the brief about the scene concept to Suga and Jimin, even before the camera started rolling, he could already feel something different in the air. Isn't that crazy? Director Kim said. The way Suga and Jimin stood side by side, the way they glanced at each other, even the way they were breathing was already naturally synchronized. This was still the preparation stage, not even shooting yet. But the energy they were radiating already made the entire crew feel that something was incredibly special. And when the camera finally started rolling for the first take, what happened was magic, pure magic. Director Kim only gave minimal direction. He told Suga and Jimin to just feel the moment, to remember their journey together, and to express what they felt in their own way. There was no rigid script dialogue, no overly detailed choreography. Everything was left to their instinct as performers, and as friends who've been together for over a decade. And guys, you know what happened? Within seconds after the camera started recording, the atmosphere on set completely changed. Director Kim said he could literally feel the shift in energy. It was that powerful. Suga and Jimin didn't look like they were acting or performing, they looked like they were genuinely living in that moment. The way Suga looked at Jimin, the way Jimin responded to that gaze, their hand gestures naturally reaching out to each other. Everything happened just like that without any further direction. And the most mind-blowing thing was their facial expressions. Now, this is the part that literally made me cry when I read the interview. Director Kim, who's been in the industry for decades and is super trained to read expressions and capture genuine moments, he said what he saw on Suga and Jimin's faces was real emotions flowing naturally. No pretending, no acting. Everything visible on camera was genuine feelings flowing just like that. Director Kim even admitted that he forgot to breathe because he was too focused observing their chemistry through the monitor. Can you imagine that? And guys, this is what makes the scene even more legendary. The scene that was originally estimated to need 10 to 15 takes to get the perfect result turned out to be completed in just 3 takes. And even more shocking, the first take was already absolutely perfect. Director Kim only did 2 additional takes for angle variations and framing options, but in terms of emotion and chemistry, the first take had already exceeded his expectations. He said this is extremely rare, even for professionally trained actors who've been in the industry for years. But wait, the most touching part isn't over yet. What made this moment truly unforgettable was the reaction from the entire crew on set. Usually, during the shooting process, the crew stays professional and focused on their respective jobs, right? Cameraman focuses on framing, lighting director focuses on lights, sound engineer focuses on audio. But when that Suga-Jimin scene was being recorded, everyone on set instantly went silent. Nobody was talking, nobody was moving, even their breathing seemed to be held. All eyes were glued to the monitor and to Suga-Jimin in front of the camera. And guys, this is what left me speechless. After director Kim yelled "cut" to end the first take, what happened was silence for several seconds. Nobody immediately reacted. Everyone was still in a trance, still absorbed in the emotion they had just witnessed. Then, one of the staff members who'd been working in this industry for years suddenly started crying. And one by one, several other crew members also began to tear up. Even director Kim himself admitted he had to hold back his emotions to stay professional, but his voice was shaking when he gave feedback to Suga and Jimin. Okay, Army, now let's talk about why Suga-Jimin's chemistry is so special according to director Kim. This is super insightful and really shows why Suga-Jimin have something truly unique. Director Kim explained that good chemistry on screen can usually be created through practice, through good understanding of characters, and through chemistry-building exercises that professional actors often do. It's a skill that can be learned and developed, right? But what Suga and Jimin have is a completely different level. It's not chemistry that's created or trained, it's chemistry that's been naturally built over the years through life experiences they've gone through together. Think about it, guys. Suga and Jimin have been together since their trainee days. They've been through thick and thin together. They've been sharing dreams, struggles, victories, tears, laughter, everything. All of that history, all those shared moments, created an authentic bond that can't be faked or replicated. Director Kim said, they don't need to pretend to care about each other because they genuinely do care. They don't need to act to show closeness because that closeness is already real. They don't need to search for emotions from fictional characters because the emotions they feel for each other are already incredibly strong and genuine. And all of that is clearly visible on camera. The camera never lies, Director Kim said. The camera can capture things that even the naked eye sometimes can't detect. And through that camera, Suga-Jimin's chemistry shines so brightly. Guys, Director Kim also shared a super touching moment that happened during break time. This is so sweet and really shows how deep their bond is. So, when they were on break and waiting for setup for the next scene, Director Kim saw Suga and Jimin sitting in a corner of the set, quietly talking to each other while occasionally laughing. There were no cameras rolling, no staff paying attention. It was their private moment. But Director Kim, who happened to observe from a distance, felt very touched. He said, the way they interacted even when off camera shows how deep the bond they have is. It wasn't performative, it wasn't for show, it was just them being them. And there was one small incident that made Director Kim even more convinced about their chemistry. In one of the takes, there was a minor technical error with the lighting that made them have to repeat the scene. Normally, in situations like this, actors would break character, take a rest, or wait for instructions, right? But Suga and Jimin stayed in their positions, kept maintaining their eye contact, and stayed in the same emotional state, as if they didn't want to let go of that moment. And when the lighting was fixed and the camera was ready to roll again, they could immediately continue with the same intensity of emotion, maybe even stronger. Director Kim said this showed him their level of professionalism and also how committed they were to deliver the best possible result. But more than that, It showed how comfortable they are with each other's presence, how naturally they sync together. ARMY, this part really highlights how impactful this experience was not just for Director Kim, but for the entire crew involved. Director Kim admitted that the experience of shooting with BTS, especially with Suga and Jimin in that scene, has changed his perspective as a director. All this time he'd always believed that technique, meticulous planning, and tight control were the keys to great music videos. But after witnessing the magic that happened between Suga and Jimin, he realized that sometimes the best thing a director can do is give space for the talent to shine in their own way, to let genuine emotions flow without too much intervention. It's a beautiful lesson, right guys? Sometimes less is more, especially when you're working with talents who already have such strong natural chemistry. Director Kim also revealed that the Suga-Jimin scene will most likely become one of the main highlights of the music video. Even before editing is complete, he could already feel that this scene will be something that will be widely talked about. He's confident that ARMYs worldwide will feel the same emotions that he and his crew experienced during that shoot. And honestly guys, based on how passionately he described this experience, I totally believe him. What makes this story even more compelling are the testimonies from other crew members. The director of photography, who was responsible for cinematography, said he had to really focus to stay steady while recording because the emotions he felt while seeing Suga-Jimin through his viewfinder were overwhelming. The lighting director said he didn't need to do too many adjustments because the natural glow from Suga and Jimin was already perfect for the desired mood. The sound engineer, who's usually focused on technical aspects, admitted he got distracted because he was too absorbed in that moment. Even the makeup artist, who was supposed to be on standby for touch-ups, didn't move from her spot because she didn't want to disturb the magic that was happening. Everyone on set that day felt the same thing, that they were witnessing something truly special, something that might only happen once in their lifetime careers. Now guys, I think it's important for us to understand the context of why this chemistry between Suga and Jimin is so profound and meaningful. Let's take a moment to look back at their journey together, because honestly, their story is one of the most beautiful aspects of BTS. Suga and Jimin's relationship goes way back to their trainee days. Remember, Suga was one of the earlier trainees who joined Big Hit, and he witnessed Jimin's arrival and struggles as he trained to debut. From the very beginning, there was something special about their dynamic. Suga, being older and more experienced, often took on a protective role, while Jimin looked up to him with respect and admiration. But what's really beautiful is how their relationship evolved over the years. Through countless hours of practice, through the stress of debut preparations, through the overwhelming success that followed, through moments of doubt and exhaustion, and through the incredible highs of their achievements, they've been there for each other consistently. Director Kim actually mentioned in his interview that he could see the weight of all those years in their eyes during the shoot. It wasn't just acting or performance, it was the accumulation of over a decade of shared experiences, inside jokes, late-night conversations, supportive moments, and deep understanding of each other's personalities and struggles. Remember how Suga has always been vocal about his admiration for Jimin's work ethic and dedication? How he's praised Jimin's growth as an artist and a person? And how Jimin has always shown such genuine care and concern for Suga's well-being, especially during difficult times. All of these real-life moments and feelings contributed to what Director Kim witnessed on set. There's also the fact that both Suga and Jimin have gone through their individual journeys of personal growth. Suga with his vulnerability about mental health, his struggles and triumphs as a producer and rapper, his journey through military service. Jimin with his own battles with self-confidence, his evolution as a vocalist and performer, his experiences during military service. They've both matured tremendously, and that maturity adds another layer of depth to their connection. What Director Kim captured wasn't just the chemistry between two performers, but the visual representation of a brotherhood that's been forged through fire, tested through challenges, and strengthened through unconditional support. That's why it resonated so deeply with everyone on set. That's why grown professionals in the industry found themselves moved to tears. Because authentic human connection like that is rare and precious, and when you witness it, you can't help but be affected by it. Now, ARMY, let's talk about what makes this particular comeback so incredibly significant and why the Suga-Jimin chemistry we're discussing is even more powerful in this context. This is BTS's first full group comeback after all members have completed their military service. Think about what that means. They've been separated for the longest period since their debut. Each member had to serve individually, experiencing military life in their own way, growing and maturing through that unique experience. The time apart wasn't just physical separation, it was a period of individual transformation for each of them. During this time, Suga and Jimin, like all the members, had time for deep reflection. Time to think about their journey, their purpose, their relationships, and what BTS truly means to them. And when they came back together for this comeback, they weren't the same people who said goodbye. They returned with new perspectives, deeper appreciation for each other, and a renewed understanding of the bond they share. Director Kim mentioned something really beautiful in his interview that I haven't shared yet. He said that during the shoot, he noticed how Suga and Jimin would sometimes just look at each other and smile, as if they were silently acknowledging how far they've come and how grateful they are to be working together again. These weren't scripted moments. These were genuine expressions of appreciation and joy at being reunited for this creative process. The director also revealed that the theme of the music video heavily reflects the concept of reunion, of coming back together stronger, a bonds that survive separation in time. So the Suga-Jimin scene isn't just a random beautiful moment in the MV. It's actually central to the entire message that BTS wants to convey with this comeback. It represents the heart of what this return means for the group and for ARMY. What's even more touching is that according to some staff members who were interviewed, other BTS members would sometimes watch from the sidelines when Suga and Jimin were filming their scene. And apparently, even the other members were visibly moved by what they were witnessing. RM was seen wiping his eyes, J-Hope had his hand over his heart, and V was just standing there with the biggest smile on his face. These weren't just colleagues watching a performance, these were brothers witnessing the beautiful connection between two of their own. This whole experience also speaks to how BTS has evolved as artists. They're not just performers anymore, they're storytellers who can convey deep emotions and complex narratives through their artistry. The fact that Suga and Jimin could create such an impactful scene with minimal direction shows their growth and maturity as artists. They understand their craft on such a deep level that they can tap into genuine emotions and translate them into powerful visual moments. Okay guys, now let's talk about what we can expect when this music video finally drops. Director Kim closed his interview by saying that as a professional who's worked on hundreds of music videos, he's familiar with various kinds of chemistry between artists. There's chemistry that's great, chemistry that's decent, chemistry that has to be forced. But the chemistry between Suga and Jimin is something that exists on a completely different level. It's not just chemistry between two professional performers, but chemistry between two souls who are deeply connected through shared life experiences. He hopes that ARMYs worldwide will be able to feel those same emotions when the music video is finally released. He's confident that this Suga-Jimin scene will become one of the most memorable moments not just in this comeback, but possibly in BTS's entire visual discography. And for Director Kim personally, this shooting experience will always remain one of the biggest highlights of his career as a music video director. Coming from someone with his level of experience and track record, that's a huge statement, guys. Imagine, out of hundreds of MVs he's worked on, from all the top artists he's collaborated with, the experience with Suga-Jimin stands out that much. That really tells you something about how extraordinary their chemistry is. Now, based on everything Director Kim shared, I want to talk about what this means for the upcoming comeback. First of all, if this one scene alone created such a powerful impact, imagine what the rest of the music video will be like. BTS always brings their A game. But with all members now having completed their military service, having had time for personal growth and reflection, this comeback is going to hit different. The fact that Director Kim specifically chose to highlight Suga and Jimin for such a crucial scene also tells us something about the overall narrative and theme of the comeback. It suggests that themes of friendship, loyalty, perseverance, and brotherhood will be central to the message they're trying to convey. And honestly, after everything BTS and ARMY have been through during the hiatus, that message feels incredibly timely and meaningful. Director Kim also hinted that the production value of this music video is going to be next level. He mentioned that they shot in multiple international locations, that the cinematography is breathtaking, and that the symbolic elements woven throughout the video will give ARMY so much to analyze and discuss. You know how much we love finding Easter eggs and hidden meanings in BTS content. So ARMY, how's that? After hearing all the story, you must be even more impatient to see BTS's comeback music video, right? I'm personally literally counting down the days until March. Suga-Jimin's chemistry that could even make an entire crew of professionals speechless and cry. This is definitely going to be something absolutely extraordinary. I can already imagine how powerful that scene is going to look on screen. And honestly, I'm already preparing myself emotionally because I know it's going to hit us right in the feels. And what makes it even more exciting, this is just one scene from a music video that's full of surprises. Just imagine, if one scene alone could create such an impact on seasoned industry professionals, what about the whole MV? What about the other member scenes? What about the overall storyline and message? This BTS comeback is definitely going to be legendary, and I have no doubt it's going to break records and touch hearts all over the world. The beautiful thing about this whole story is that it reminds us why we fell in love with BTS in the first place. It's not just about their incredible talent, their amazing performances, or their chart-topping music. It's about the genuine connection they have with each other, the authentic emotions they bring to everything they do, and the way they can make us feel so deeply through their art. That's the magic of BTS, and that's what we're going to witness in this comeback. So guys, don't forget to mark your calendars for the release date. Set multiple alarms, clear your schedule, prepare your tissues because based on director Kim's story, it seems like we're gonna need a whole box. Get your ARMY bombs ready, prepare your streaming strategies, and most importantly, get ready to witness something truly special. And let's not forget to keep supporting BTS in every way we can. Stream their music, watch their content, engage with their posts, and spread positive energy in the fandom. They've worked so hard for this comeback, and they deserve all our love and support. Before we end this video, I want to know your thoughts. Drop in the comment section. How excited are you for this comeback on a scale of 1 to 10? What are your predictions for the MV concept? And which Suga-Jimin moment from past content is your absolute favorite? Let's discuss in the comments. I love reading all your thoughts and theories. If you enjoyed this video and found the information valuable, please give this video a huge thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know that you want more content like this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any updates about BTS. I post regular updates, analysis, and news about our boys. Share this video with fellow ARMYs so they can also know about this amazing story. Let's spread the excitement together and get everyone hyped for the comeback. The more ARMYs who know about this, the more we can all freak out together when the MV drops. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I appreciate every single one of you who takes the time to watch these videos and engage with the content. Your support means the world to me. See you in the next video with more exciting updates about BTS. Stay tuned, stay healthy, and most importantly, keep supporting our boys. Purple you ARMY! Borahi!